Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another version of the FSF podcast, 5 at 5. Now, the last couple of weeks we have done live at 5s, but we're going to get back into some of the recorded sessions that we had planned for you previously. But I'm very excited because now typically we do these 5 at 5s. It's just me or Kathleen or Nick, us just sitting here and us droning on and on about something. But we thought, why should we be the only ones to drone on? And so I have someone to help me with the droning. I'm very excited to introduce the friendly neighborhood Master Alan of Level Up Sabers. Welcome, Alan.
It is nice to be sitting down with you again. It's been a long time, man.
Yeah, it has. It's been too long, and so this was also just another way, a clever ploy, a ruse to get you on camera with us again, because we always have fun with you when you come on the show.
It worked. It was great.
Yeah, exactly. So what I thought we would do today is we would talk about the top 5 sabers on Level Up Sabers website. Okay? And
sounds
so
great.
You can pick the top 5 that you think that we need to be paying attention to and tell us what's so great about them and all that. And we'll make sure that there'll be a link to Level Up Sabers down in the show notes and comments down below so you guys can find it and go buy yourself a saber, because although you cannot see it on the poster behind him, at the very top of it, it does say better than a stick. And they are, trust me. See, back there, it's better than a stick. All right, so Alan, tell us about Level Up Sabers and just briefly why Level Up Sabers needed to be Level Up Sabers.
All right. Well, so I'm a martial arts instructor. That is how I make my bones, so to speak. And I have had a lightsaber class now for 6 years, 7 years, something like that. And it's basically modified samurai sword with some Philippine influences and some other stuff as well. But I had this martial arts class, and I had the most difficult time getting sabers that worked for my students for the class. And something that really, really helps people when they come in to try the class is being able to hold the lightsaber, being able to swing it around and change the color, make it the color they want, have it be a size that's comfortable in their hand, that kind of stuff. And I went through a lot of companies that people are probably familiar with that I'm not going to say bad things about because now they're my competition. But nothing fit, nothing worked for us. And COVID happened, and it gave me the opportunity to audition several manufacturers to kind of find somebody that I liked working with. I have arrived on a manufacturer that's called Nexus, and they are the maker behind a lot of companies that you'd be familiar with. But I've got a rep that I'm very happy working with. I've got product that they help me support, and everybody that orders a Level Up Saber, the one that's over your shoulder there, it's my product. I'm the support for that product. I'm the person that makes sure you get what you ordered. I'm the person that cuts your blade. I'm the person that packs your box. If something goes wrong or something's missing or something breaks and your warranty needs to be, whatever, I'm the person that takes care of all of that. So I'm the marketing department and the janitor.
Cool. All right.
But that was the genesis of Level Up Sabers, and that is kind of how we ended up meeting, because you had me on to talk about sabers and Star Wars and other fun stuff, like a year ago now.
Yeah, because actually, I think it was a little bit longer than that, but because I saw you on TikTok, which if you're not following friendly neighborhood Master Alan on TikTok, you should be, because there's some really cool stuff on there. It's not just a constant pitch of why you should buy Level Up Sabers, although that, it's business time, it happens, but there's some fun stuff in there too.
I try to mix it up so that I don't go crazy.
Absolutely. All right, well, hey, let's get into it, man. Let's talk about the top 5 sabers on Level Up Sabers. All right, here we go.
Sounds good.
Number 5.
All right, and this is just an excuse to talk about this particular saber. I have just added it to the site within the last 5 days, but this is modeled after the Rey Skywalker, the dark Rey Skywalker from kind of the middle part of the Rise of Skywalker. And so this has got a hinged lock. It's a double saber that
Giggity
will extend into his staff. And so you can use this thing either as individuals, you can actually separate it from this little hinge, or you get the really cool look of the double blade from one hand. And then there's this little magnet that holds it all together. So it'll lock as a staff, and you can have that like cool drop moment. Plus you can use it as a single saber and other stuff. And so, yeah, this is called the Empress. This is on the site, and all the holiday coupons I'm running right now would apply to this thing. And so most of the time I do kind of limited coupon runs instead of site-wide thing. Right now we're doing site-wide.
Perfect.
It's a good time to buy something expensive.
Exactly. Number 4.
I wanted to make sure this got on the list. And so, like, building the list out, this was one of the things that I sort of set to the side and went, all right, this is automatically going to be in. And now on the site, this is called the Infinity. And you will recognize this because this is the saber that you have, sir. But you got to show this off at the con and got to meet one of the voice actors in the Clone Wars series.
For Olivia Dabo. Yeah,
there we go. But this is, I've got a section on the site now that's labeled Persona Sabers, and this was one of the first ones that I added to that list. And these are sabers that are not as expensive as the character-inspired sabers, but they've got a little bit more personality. And so the Infinity is a really good one. It's absolutely durable enough for dueling, but it's also got like the windowed emitter, the two-tone handle, so that it's got, when this is on display, it looks a little bit more interesting than some of the standard training sabers, which are great, and I love them, but they're kind of boring.
Right?
The Infinity.
Number 3.
Number 3 on the list, we have Kanan Jarrus's saber. And so
nice.
Most of the character-inspired sabers I don't have a lot of use for because they're hard to use for martial arts practice. They've got stuff on them that makes it hard to hold them, hard to use them. And the Kanan saber, not only is it a really comfortable dueling saber, I really love Kanan. For anybody that hasn't watched Star Wars Rebels, it is the Star Wars show that doesn't necessarily get the same amount of love from certain sections of the fandom. Because if they grew up with Clone Wars, Rebels came later. Rebels was for a different set of Star Wars fans that were kids. And so the story arc of Kanan is just really, really fantastic. Going from reluctant mentor to having to find his way forward after he loses his sight and some other things. He's a really, really cool journey that his character takes. And his saber, in addition to looking very cool, is also very comfortable in the hand. And that's kind of, those are my boxes. Plus this is a really good one for cosplay because I prefer D-ring to the little cover tech clips. I realize that they swing around more and they bump into stuff, but any of the ones that have the D-ring, I would rather cosplay with these because I feel like it looks better. I like it better.
I get that. Yeah, that would make sense though with the, because you think about like the Darth Vader saber or even Anakin's saber. It's very clunky on the handle. Luke's saber, original saber, because it was Anakin's, was very clunky, thick.
The Graflex saber, which is the Anakin and the Vader, it is that big around, and people can't see me, but it's so close to being like as big around as a Coke can, and it's just really hard to think with that.
Yeah, hard to wield it, especially if you have smaller hands. All right, number 2.
This is where it got hard because I have like 4 more sabers that I want to show you guys, but this is the Hope. And I wanted to make sure I highlighted this particular saber in for multiple reasons. One, it's got the right color palette, right? This has very, very quickly become one of the most popular sabers on the site. I introduced this at the same time as the Infinity. This is another one of the Persona sabers. But every single one of these that gets purchased, Level Up Sabers is going to donate $40 to an organization here in Louisville called Maryhurst. And so in addition to being a really sweet looking saber, there's just a whole lot of detail. It looks really unique. It's great on display. It's pretty when it's lit up. It's also providing money for an organization that does a lot of work with children that have needed to be in the care of the state. And so Maryhurst works specifically with women. This is the oldest such organization in the state of Kentucky. It's one of the oldest in the country. It goes back to when Kentucky was a colony. And they work with girls that have basically been run over by life, and they do a lot of different fantastic kinds of outreach to support foster families, to support kids as they kind of find their way kind of moving into being a functioning adult and all that kind of stuff. And it's an awesome organization. My wife has worked for them for more than a decade. And getting to support their mission with my side hustle is just freaking sweet.
That's awesome.
And the Hope is the vehicle by which I get to do that because I have heard that rebellions are run on Hope.
That's awesome. That is really cool. That's Not just the name of the saber. I like the color palette that's chosen for it. It just all ties in nicely between what you're trying to do, the basis for it, the color palette. It all works really well. So that's a pretty awesome number 2. So which makes me wonder, what is the number 1? What is the big uno? The big enchilada. So what's number 1?
And so the reason why this got saved for number 1 is this is going to hit the site in time for the holiday this year, but the full context for this saber, I'm not going to be able to like fully share until January. So we're just going to tease it now for anybody that's listening.
Okay.
So this is going to go on the site under the name of the Multitool. And so I am taking part in a streamed, well, recorded tabletop role-playing game. And we're using a core system called Savage Worlds. And I've got a handful of tabletop creators and Star Wars creators that are working with me on this. And there's going to be a bunch of sabers hitting the site that are all connected to everybody's individual character.
Oh, awesome.
And this is going to be the saber of my character, who is kind of a little bit like Basher from Ocean's 11. Like
Okay.
it's sort of a lockman kind of a role within the party. And this character has not been raised as a Jedi. They have ended up with a lightsaber because of their tragic backstory, because tabletop role-playing game.
Sure.
And they have a toolbox filled with ways to deal with locked doors and other obstructions. And this is what they refer to as their multi-tool. Because if a lightsaber is anything for a Jedi, it's a multi-tool. Mm-hmm. It is defense, it is offense, it is a key, it is a light in the darkness, so to speak. And so this is the multi-tool, and you will be able to learn more about Gleebeck and his compatriots in shenanigans at the very beginning of 2023.
That sounds awesome. All right, Alan, tell them where they can find you on TikTok and Instagram, because I know that those are your 2 main social media outreaches, and where I spend most of my time watching your shenanigans. So,
Friendly Neighborhood Master Alan can be found on TikTok at Level Up Light 1, the number 1, not the word 1. Can also be found on Instagram and Twitter. And recently I've joined Hive, because as Twitter is sort of going through its nobody can tell what's going to happen next, there's been an exodus to different like similar social media platforms.
Hive,
so I've recently started Hive, which I am a fan of. It's pretty cool so far. They were not prepared for the influx of members that they have just gotten in the last 5 days. But I'm really enjoying it so far. And it's been fun to like step into a new social media that is very much a blank slate. And I am Level Up Light 1 there as well. And so please come check me out. You can also go to levelupsabers.com to find any of the sabers that I use. But if you know you're going to buy a saber, you should use the link that's provided as part of this show, because any purchase you make through that link is going to support the show. I really love the Funny Science Fiction podcast and all the folks that work on not just this, but like you guys record like 3 times a week at this point, right? Something like that.
Pretty much,
4?
yeah. 3 or 4, yeah.
And so the Level Up Sabers is very happy to support all of their work, because freaking awesome.
Well, thank you.
And you were my first podcast interview, at least the first one that I got to like, really interact in kind of a visual way and show off sabers and that kind of stuff. It was, and so that's a really special memory for me in the history of this whole journey that I've been on.
Very cool.
And I love that I get to support you guys.
Awesome. Well, we'll make sure that all that information for the socials goes down in the show notes down below, so we can have people reach out and find you. But guys, that's going to do it. That's our 5 at 5, the top 5 sabers on Level Up Sabers. Amazing saber company. I mean, I'm just saying the Infinity Saber is pretty freaking sweet. I like it. Go check them out. There's a link down below. And if you haven't already, please don't forget to click like and subscribe. That helps us to continue to grow, and you'll be able to check us out every Monday night at 7 p.m. for our live show, every Friday morning for a pre-recorded episode, and of course Wednesday night at 5 p.m. for your 5 at 5. That's going to do it. Goodbye.